Lass mal gehen, wir kommen gegen Gampen, ich stelle mir gedacht, der Maxel. Wir kommen gegen Gampen, ich stelle mir gedacht, der Maxel. Die Beginner nikre in Sof, Husi Vatzmusse, Mamish Husi Vatzmusse, Shlabere. According to the Ramak, that there's no other Metzias. Ain't Shu Metzias Zulus Madrege Zu nikre in Sof. Only Atzmus, Husi Vatzmusse. So he's Blikvol and Mushtof and side das versteht sich in auf Stilles Qualitäten, so that the Kula Almas darf gehen Atzmus. So there's the Pashte Musik of Ein Sof. Every other in besides for Atzmus is Mechudesh. Mechudesh means that Atzmus doesn't have to be. And B'meila it's Mugbal. And it can be Mahava in of Savos. The Savos is Dafka Metzias which has no Agbala. And therefore it's able to be Mahava even a Metzias which is in a Rech and Rechnes Regashmis. Rechnes Regashmis Shalom Lefanov. So according to the Ramak, this Havos is Dafka Menasim, Kena Reis. So according to the Ramak, Dafka only Muhusi Vatzmusse is Ein Sof. So then according to the Ramak, Reis Havos Elam is from Atzmus Mamish. We said it before, you do it, the Keich Havos is Dafka Mikeich Ein Sof. Because this Havas Aruchis Me'agashmis is Be'en Arech. He brought it earlier. So in order to have a Metzias Gashmis which has no relation, no Yachas to a Makir, is Dafke Mitzad Amadrego, which has no Agbalas Klaus, which is Ein Sof. So come to this Havas is Me'atzmus Mamish. Not like Mekabbalah Marashenim, which according to them also Keser is Ein Sof. So she tells some this Havas is Bekecha Keser. Mashikin according to the Ramak, is Havas Bekecha Atzmus. And thus Kemen Rizog. So the fact that the Ramak said there's no other, that there's that only Atzma, that every Pchina outside of Atzma is Mechudesh, and there's nothing which is Ein Sof Mitzad Atzma, that this is masking the Ramak. There is Ramak in Chein Snuli Yeser. The Alter Rebbe says that the Eir is Ein Sof. There's a Metzias Zulas Atzmas, which is Ein Sof. According to the Alter Rebbe, the Ein Sof of Eir is not independent. That's because the whole Metzias of Eir is Galus Atzmas. There's Galus of the Ein Sof of Atzmas. It's not that the Eir from its own point of view, not that the Eir independently is Ein Sof. The fact that the Eir is Ein Sof is because the whole Yona of the Eir is Gilei Amar, like we'll see later. According to Alter Rebbe, the Kasha that the Ramak asked in the Kabbalim, you don't have. Kasha the Ramak in the Kabbalim is, it's not shaykh to say that there should be an emes in Metzias, there should be an Ein Sof Mitzadat, and the Keser should be Ein Sof Mitzadatme. The Mitzad Metzias of Seder Shashal is Keser is Ein Sof. That's coming to Zogin. According to Alter Rebbe, the Eir is Ein Sof because calling Yona of the Eir is Gilei Amar. We'll see later. So, but in the Gabi, what the Ramak says, that is Havos. Is mitzad atzmos, das chassidus is nicht maskim. Why? If you're going to say this Havas Eilmus is me'atzmos mamish, it means what's the siba? From wann hat geworden a Welt? This Havas Eilmus, wann hat geworden the Metzias from Welt? Because atzmos is shlilas kol ha'teir. The Eibush is not mugul at all. So of course, if he wants a world, there'll be a world. So from wann entstammt that there's Metzias Eilmus? Because there's a shlilas kol ha'teir, which all they were saying, there should be a world. So the sib of Elmus is the Atzmus Mamish. According to the Alter Rebbe, this Havas Elmus is from the Eir. The Metzias Elmus is this Havas through the Eir is Mahava B'keich Atzmus. But this Havas is not, so to speak, directly from Atzmus. The Eifanais Havas is that the Keich Ein Sof is Nizgal in Eir, and Hemshech to that the Keich Ein Sof is Nizgal in Eir. There's Inin of his Havas. So Mashiach, according to the Ramak, this Havas Eilmus is Me'atzmus Mamish. The only what's the sibah that there's Metzias of Welt? Because since Atzmus is mushla from any geder, from any agdoris, so Mele if Avadi is not mushla from the fact that there could be a world. If he's there, he can't say that. He says Ef Shalem Rekadas Haramak Zal. Can't resolve it because in Kain Eich Leishanisi. Yamat Kamer resolving that through his Havas there was no shini at all. You can't say the pasuk says any violation is it. Havas Eilmus doesn't get him any shinu in Alakus. According to the Ramak, is Eich Leishanisi. Why? Agam Sheni Maslavish Eilmus. If we're dealing with if the Keich Haliki have Havas Eilmus, was the Keich Mugbal, then versteht sich that in order for him to be Maslavish and to be Mahava, there will be a shinu because the Keich the way it is mufshit can't affect the world. In order for the Keich Haliki, Keich Mugbal to affect the world, he has to lower himself down. That's the shini mamish. Mashiach, when you speak, when they get to according to the Ramak, that Havas is Mikeich Atzmos. The Eif in the way mitzad Atzmos there's a world. There's no need for the Keich Atzmos to lower himself down and to be mislabish, to be behessen to the Metzias Eilmus. You don't have that hechich melchatchila. Since Atzmos shilas kol ha'teirim, if all they were saying there should be, you can't say any gedorim chas v'shalom or any limits in Alakus. If he wants a world, that's zayin avelt. There's no relation to him. He doesn't have to have the idea, the system that in order for one to affect something else, there has to be a connection between them. That's only mitzvah seder shalom. Said gedorim. Atzmos is a shlilas kol ha'teirim, which is not muchrich in in any rules and any definition. So if he wants a rule, there's a rule. There's no slapshus. So what's the shaila of shenisi? He says, "Agam she'enim slapshus ve'ilmis mikolom kim saf kol saf hariv b'chinas makar le'ilmis." It means lepoil. From where do the ilmis come from? The ilmis comes from because since Atzmus is not muchach in anything, he's not mugder in anything. Therefore, if all they were saying there should be a velt, there's a velt. So at the end of the day, the ilmis stem from Atzmus. Why is that a shini? We'll see. He says, but since of course the mocker of this house is directly from Atzmus, but even though it's not an of a slapshus, it means the etzem k'meishu hu ba'atzmusay. Without any tunu of tzimtzum, all they were saying there should be a velt. That he was changed, and he has to limit himself and to come lifi erech eilus that you don't have because of derech hamela. Mikomkim lei tochen leim as aleishanis. Hein misat etzemais havus that mikomkim hu beidam havas eilus. That's number one. This pratim he's going to touch up later. Just as that's some zach. According to the Alter Rebbe, the Metzias Ha'Elamis is Neveh Mitzad Ha'er. Again, according to the Ramak, the Metzias Ha'Elamis, the fact there's a Metzias, which is outside of a Lakus, there's a Metzias, that's because the Eibusha created that. That's Neveh Mitzad Ha'Keich Atzmus directly. That's Inin of Shino, which we'll see the touch later. Kom Gebeir Mahavas Ha'Elamis. V'hei Mitzad Ha'Ratzon L'Shavas. Maybe this prat is kedai to see this lashon here. Like this here, he just says because Hu Beiro Mahavas Ha'Elamis. Yeah, this lashon itself, the mashmos is that the reason why it's shanisi is the etzem fact the pile. There's a tool that before this havos there was no mitzias outside of elikus. Mash inke mitzad this havos there's a mitzias. According to the Alter Rebbe's house is that this havos the way it is inside the atzmos, so it's bechal not a mitzias. There's no mitzad the atzmos lechatchil. There's no mitzias of elimus. The whole in of elimus is that that's his dir. It's a different inyan. The fact that there's a mitzias, that's all mitzad ha'er. Again, according to the Ramak, the fact that there's a mitzias of elumis, etzem ha'isavas, the very fact there's a being, which according to the Ramak, the mitzias of elumis is not a keli ta'atzmus. So before this havos, the only emes was there's no gdarim at all. La'achrei ha'isavas, there's a mitzias of velt, and that mitzias of velt in the gdarim of seder shlalshos are not kelim ta'atzmus, according to the Ramak. Before the Alter Rebbe was makal the inin of er, so where Kaviyachal is present, or where is Meir, the inyan of Shluas Kol HaTeirim, the Amita saying stuff of Atzmos, only in that's Mitzad Atzmos, so he's not Mugbal at all. But in definition, in Gedarim, in the world of Metzias, in a world of Geder, in a world of system, the system is not a Keli to the Metzias Atzmos. So the pile of the system is a Metzias, another Metzias. That's the inyan of Shinei. That's the mashmos halashon here. He says, "Heim said etzem ha'isavas that mikomkim hu beidu mahavas elumis."
How's it shino?
The pad there's a mitzias.
How does that mean that Atzmos?
What I'm saying is the pad there's a mode of being that's not a keli to him. I'm not saying Atzmos changed. We'll see later how there's a change in Atzmos, so to speak. I'm just saying the lashon the way he says it here. He says even though he's beidu v'derech hamele mikomkim mitzad etzem ha'isavas. What does he say etzem ha'isavas? That later he's going to touch up that there's a certain change, so to speak, in Atzmos. But I'm saying here, the lashon here, Lepel, one thing you see from the Ramak, Lepel, according to the Ramak, Mitzias is not a keli to the built Mitzias. According to the Alter Rebbe, so er is Megala Damar. According to the Ramak, Mitzias Elumis could only contain in which is Shaykhas the Mitzias.
How does that mean change?
No, so Lepel till now, before this Havas, there was nothing besides for Atzmos. And Mitzad this Havas, there's a Mitzias of Gvul, which is not a keli to Atzmos, which is, so to speak, other than Atzmos. From Atzmos' point of view, there's nothing outside of him because he's Shluas Kol HaTeirim. But that's mitzad from the point of view of no Gdarim, so the Gvul is not a stiritin. But from the point of view of Gvul is not a kelitin. So there's a certain mitzias, the mitzias elimis. The nivra mitzad his own tchunis you can't derive from the nivra that the nivra should be a keli from his own point of view. The Eibush is b'li he could be anywhere. That's a different story. Because he's not, even though this nivra is not a keli for him, and mitzad the gedarim of gvul, there's no way for gvul to be a keli to the b'li gvul. But atzm shloas kol HaTeirim, he could be everywhere. From his point of view, he could be anywhere. But the nivra lepoil is a certain mode of being that's not a keli to atzmos. So there's a mitzias which is not behesem al atzmos. There's a nischadesh gevarna mitzias. Shaking mitzad so the savos mitzad atzmos, the whole mitzias elam is since according to the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe says so the nivra saf kol saf is a keli to atzmos. And he's going, and the kavanas direh b'tachtenim is that the tachten should be a keli that the nivra is able to is the truth of the nivra is to express atzmos. Within the gdarim of the nivra, he's a keli to atzmos. That's the idea of it. That saf kol saf the amitas hamitzias is that it's to be megalda the mar. So according to that, from his havas, the way it is inside the atzmos, the nivra there's no other being outside of atzmos. Because the nivra saf kol saf, the kavana is that it should be a dir and be a keli to atzmos. So the same way there's hu levadi hu, there's hu levadi hu la'achash nivra elam. There's no inyan of mitzias. Yeah, this is dakas the kinyanim. I'm just saying just a little touch in the verter. Lepile, if you look a little later, a few lines further. Should we go if you say that advarim? We'll go back. We'll see. There's later attached. We'll go back to this line. So that's mitzad ha'etzem ha'ishavos. Vehein mitzad ha'ratzon ha'ishavos. Lepile since eilumis. He says shadikedim sheneshavu loy hayu eilumis. Means mitzias. What are we saying? Gvul from its point of view is not a keli tatzmos. So lifnei ha'ishavos was only atzmos. Which is neise hakel, mushlo mehakel. But all from the point of view of atzmos, from the point of view of no rules, no gdarim. So it's can all zayin. But there's no mitzias of gvul. From the point of view of a system is not a keli to nekuda which is beyond the system. Mitzias, from its point of view, from its own tchunis, is not a keli to the built mitzias. So before this, havas loy hayu elamis, and vi verta mitzias, another mitzias, not only him. So that's all the bertzeni lahavis, and it calls out shini. The there's in of ratzin lahavis. That's a shini. The Hemshech lemik and chazal ba'atzmos saber. That's in of ratzin. And then he says, that's this is so to speak a chreichim mitzad. Pasuk says in the violation isi, and here there's a lechoras in of shini. He mitzad the etzem esavas, and he mitzad the ratzin lahavis. Then he says rayis from Chazal that not only the etzem is ein sof.
What are we saying? Mitzad the ratzin lahavis. How does that? What's the answer?
I'm saying the etzem kameshu is mufshit from a shaychus to mitzias. The pearl was a chiddush. His havas is a certain. There was a chadash gvarna mitzias. Which before the Sabbath there was no mitzias. So the etz fact that severta mitzias is a chiddush, is a shini. Till now there was no mitzias, and then there's also a shini in him. Vi gevarn der mitzias. There had to be all the bertzeni lahavis. The etzem kameshu without is not. There's no makkah for a mitzias.
That's not.
Ermein amar. So an atzma is not tnu of ratzin. The Hachodesh Baruch Lisa did it is not a gather of ratzin. Ratzin, the saying shini is if you say the person be'atzmusay is mufshit from a shaychus tazulas. Ratzin means it becomes a makar to Zulas. He wants something else. That's the initial state of being a makar for the Zulas. And that's already not the etzem kameshu. Masha'inkin, when you say, when Masha'inkin Savakish Baruch Lisa with Tachtenim, the Nisava is not that there should be a Metzias outside of him. That he should be, that he should have a Dira. Is that the whole Metzias of the Elamis is to be a Dira to Atzmos, to be a Keli to him. Then the Metzias Elamis is not something outside of the Tnua, that there's nothing else besides for him. Without Teves said that the makar of the ilmas vedas and atzmos is that it's nisava, because that's not the nekuda of ratzin. In the nisava kesh baruch lisa derevtachtenim. Nisava kesh baruch lisa derevtachtenim is that what's all bertzeni there should be a dira latzmos. So the same tnu of atzmos that there's nothing that hu levadi hu that there's only the shidduch kol ateirim. That same tnua is also that's the nekuda of velt to say that hu levadi hu.
The all bertzeni part still.
It's not ratzin. When we're saying the word of ratzin, it's not a shaila if you wanted or didn't want. The nekuda is. If it's not the same mode as the etzem kameshu. The mode of the etzem kameshu is there's only him. The fact that there should be another mitzias that's already that's not the etzem kameshu. The etzem kameshu about says is him, and there's no nesinas manga for anything else outside of him. Here there's a ratzin for a mitzias, so that's already is a change of a tnua. There's a mukkah for a mitzias. Is not another tnua outside of the etzem. That's that this truth of the etzem should be everywhere. It should be begoli. It's not another inyan. The etzem is hulavadi huva inzolasi. There's no gdarim and there's only him, and the fact that it's only him that should be in reality also. The world should also say that there's only him, and all levels of being it should be only him. So there's no tnua of leaving the mode of the etzem. It's the same shlias kol atayrim of the etzem, the same mufshit from mitzias of the etzem, the same not giving innocence to anything besides for him. That's the Tnuah Welt also. To be a dira that there's nothing else besides for him. Mashiach, according to the Ramak, the mitzias ilmus is not a keli to the Indian of atzmos, kameshuhu. So there's a mitzias lapel. There's an havas of mitzias that from the point of view of the mitzias is not a keli to the etzem kameshuhu. For that, there has to be a Tnuah of ratzin that there should be a mitzias. So that's the chodesh. There's a certain change in the mode. The market is not the way he is batzmusay, that there's only him. There's already a nisnas makin for an asiba for a mitzias. That's the Tnuah ratzin. Look, there's I'm saying as if it's pashta taish, but if you look in Sefer Erechim, he goes with the whole kasha and teretz, and he's more meirich. There's a miluim in Erin Saf Aleph 518. Kendart Nakukton. That's where he goes through these Murva Pratis. Oh, so because of Chnashin, the Lemer can Chas Shalom Atzmas Haber. Can you sagen Atzmas Haber? There's a certain change of mode in Atzmas. That's can you sagen. Means there's two Tnuas Kaviyalcha in Atzmas. There's the way Atzmas is, Batzmus, that there's no Nisinas Maga for an Indian, which is not him. And then there's the way Atzmus is, that is Na'efin, that is a Maga for a Metzias, which is outside of him. That's can you sagen. But according to the Ramak, the Etzem Kameshu who Mitzad Atzmus is there's only him. But Mash'egen Welt is there's a Tnu which is not only him. The Welt is a Metzias. And from the point of, even though from his point of view, the Metzias is not outside of him, but from the point of view of the Metzias, it's not him. And for that, you need Ratzin. That means you need that the Etzem is not Kameshu hu Batzmus. That's the Pshat you mean Ratzin. Mash'egen, according to the Alter Rebbe, the Metzias reflects the same truth as the Etzem Kameshu. The Metzias Sa'elamis reflects the same truth as Atzvas Mamish. So there's never a Tnuah of a certain, we're not changing any mode. We're in the same mode of Atzmas, that there's only him, without any Hagdaris, only him, and that's the Indian of Elamis, to express that there's only him, to reflect this emes that there's only him. So there's no change of mode, there's no Tnuah of Ratzim. But the Nis'av is not, that's the Hemshech, that's this emes that there's only him, that should be Begali. And that should be the Metzias L'Payel.
But it wasn't like that before.
What do you mean it wasn't like that? It wasn't like that before. Okay, that's it's not, what he's saying, it's not a Shaila in Zman. The Shaila is this Havas a different Tnuah, or it's the same Nukud as Asmus? That's the Shaila. According to the Mak, it's a different Tnuah, because Mitzad this Havas is a Makkah for the Metzias. Mashiach Fidal Terebe, this Havas reflects the same emes as Asmus. It's more from them. I'm saying this Havas in Dira B'Tachtene means that the Tachten B'Atzmus B'Mitziyusi is a Dira to Atzmus. Is that Mitzias there is Atzmus. The same emes of Atzmus, that's the Mitzias. That's the Mitzias Abriya. It's not two separate in Yona. Then now he brings Merayis from Chazal to the Sinyan. That there's a Metzias outside of Asas, which is Ein Sof. Let him say it's outside of Asas. That in Metzias there's Ein Sof. Not only like the Ramak. That only the Bilti Metzias, the Shlilas Kol HaTorah, is Ein Sof. There's a Dargin Metzias, which is Ein Sof. Where the fact that there's a Metzias outside of Asas, which is Ein Sof, thus he brings a Chaychachas from Chazal. But the fact that the Yisod of this Ein Sof, the Mekobal learned the Yisod of this Ein Sof is because that's the truth of the category of Metzias. And the Alter Rebbe said because the Metzias reflects the Etzem. Through Dvekas, the air reflects the Mar. So the Ein Sof of the Metzias is because Kolin Yoni is that the Mar is Mizgal. I will see later. But he brings a Rayas from Chazal. The Gami says, Ef Shaleimar. Shaloi Yesh Metzias Anikre Ein Sof, Zulas Metzias Atzmus. Let's come in the Zog. Dari Mikoma came over, Pirkat Rebbe Lezer, Ad Shalin Yivra Elam, Hayuhu Shmei Levad. So state that before this Havos, before there was a marker for Metzias, before this Havos of this Eilam, this Havos of a different Eilam. The whole Seder Shtashlos is all the Mitzadin of his Havos Eilam. So before this Havos, Vasi Yamot Geven, state that there was only him. There was him and his name. That means that there is a Pchina which is Kodum, which is Kadman. Uchsiv ani Havaya hu shmi. Steht doch that Havaya is the Eibishter's name. That means that it's his name, that's not him himself. Hashem Havaya rak b'china shmei, aber hu atzmi l'malam b'china shmei. Ani Havaya hu shmi is ani is higher than Havaya is only my name, but ani is higher than Havaya. So it is, but there's also shmei. Zeh shekosu b'chol yim avarcheka v'hal l'shimcha. What's the pshat b'chol yim avarcheka and then hal l'shimcha. V'omar l'chotev l'hedis l'shimcha no l'zam. L'zam the tzvein yon. So that's a raya that there's a darga which is there's a mitzias zulas ha'atzmus is a darga mitzias which is Ein Sof and kadin kadmuse, which we'll see later the pratim. It's achalen nivra elam there was We'll see later. Then he brings al derech another raya, not from say he's bringing from Chazal, Pirkei Rebbe Lezer. Now he brings from Hechroches Mitzad Kisvei Arizal. Gegeven van als bij schaam in het zimtzum, steht er in het schaam en dan order voor de besavas elam is in het zimtzum. Shai berin sof. Der Ramak is la yadam in het zimtzum. Kula amad is in het zimtzum, but not het zimtzum der chsiluk. But steht in het schaam that there was a zimtzum shai berin sof. And he says la yitach in klal calls the lemer ba'atzmos namish. Because of the reder asal paschal yo. The musig of zimtzum is not shaykh to say in atzmos. The musig of helim that sided the tzedek for zimtzum. That the mitzvah that atzmos should be a stira to the mitzvah elemis, and you have to be the mitzvah. Kshahaya ein esaf mala makam achal lahaya makla mitzvah elemis is dafka mitzvah because is a contradiction. Has a certain mitzvah, and if in the mitzvah is meir the Eibush is bleak vol, so there's no space that a mitzvah there should be a veld. Mashegim mitzvah atzmos, the fact that the Eibush is ein sof, and the fact that he's the hulavadi hu is not a stira. There should be a world, because atzmos is beyond the whole musik. There should be beyond the whole idea of mitzias. This the Alter Rebbe brings into there that adrab amaru bezgalus. There's no tzimtzum in atzmos. You understand the Alter Rebbe, the famous letters that Bishop the Master wrote from before the Nesias. He was learning with another yid, and they came up to the maskana that there's no big difference between the shit of the gra, the shit of the Alter Rebbe, and they get the tzimtzum. But the Rebbe wrote him that I could compare with the Alter Rebbe's shit when you get the tzimtzum and the other shittas. So the Rebbe goes to a pratim that there's 4 shittas when you get in that tzimtzum. There's time shein arba. There's 2 pratim, whether tzimtzum is kipshute or tzimtzum is lav kipshute. If tzimtzum is kipshute, that the mitzias halakus removed itself from a certain mode, from a certain level of a certain realm of being. That's one shit. That tzimtzum means that there's in a certain realm of being, the Eibusher is misalik alakus from there. That's one shit. Alter Rebbe, or tzimtzum lav kipshute means that it's not that the Eir is misulik from there. He's there, but he's not meir begali. It's behelim. That's tzimtzum lav kipshute. That's ein zach. And at zweite shali faran, where was the tzimtzum? Was the tzimtzum an etzem, or the tzimtzum was only an Eir? And that there's 4 shittas in Kabbalah. Some hold tzimtzum kipshute, but it was only an Eir. Some hold tzimtzum lav kipshute, but it's also an atzmos. There's different. These 2 pratim and them is mecholik 4 shittas. And the Alter Rebbe shitta was that tzimtzum lav kipshute. Whenever you speak tzimtzum, it's not that there's a siluk, that the Eir is not, that the Eir alaki is not present in Elam Hazard. It's not present in Mitzias Elamis. It's just that it's present fully, but it's not meir. It's not nirgash. It's behelim. That's number 1. Since lav kipshute. Number 2 is that it's even this helim is only an Eir, not an atzmos. Atzmos is the Alter Rebbe says hamoir hu beizgalus. The moir is begili. Atzmos is begili. Tinekes v'noshim the fact that there's an Eibush there, and that Eibush that when they say Baruch Hashem, they don't mean a bleak vol or this darga, and a darga. They say there's the Eibush himself, that the Noshim Shutim. That's because Amar who pays galus. That musik of alakus that they're speaking about is atzmos. There's no taich. There's no taich of bleak vol. There's no taich. They're not looking for a taich to begin with. So a certain nekuda which is beyond everything and in charge of everything, but without a taich of what type of mile he has. That whole category doesn't exist. It's just that's the mar hu beis galus, the etzem kameshu. It's not a taich. There's no taich in the words when they say that there's that there's a Baruch Hashem. Yeah, because so the Alter Rebbe said there was that legabe atzmos there's no inyan of helim, and the Rebbe brings there even more that according to the Alter Rebbe, not only in atzmos there's no tzimtzum derech helim, but even in Eir, in the higher madregas of Eir, there's no tzimtzum either. The whole siluk, the whole tzimtzum which we're not margish the Eir, that's only in lower dargas in Eir. In the higher dargas in Eir, there's no tzimtzum derech helim either. is there's dargis and Eir Ein Sof, which mitzad the point of view of the Eir, it's begilui. It's begilui in Elimus. We don't sense it because for it to be begilui, it doesn't need us to be margish. But there's no tnu of his almas. The Eir, that tzimtzum at nar pelgu, there's an Eir, which legabe that Eir, in order for that Eir to be begilui, the zulas has to be margish there. The mekabel has to be aware of the fact that there's an Eir. So legabe an Eir, which the musig of which is mugder, that the gather of gilui is that the mekabel is margish that gilui. The gabi that Eir, there was a tzimtzum that were not margish there. But the gabi higher dargis in Eir, which is also higher dargis in gilui, but it's begili even though the nivra is not margish that Eir. Because the definition of gilui, the gabi that darga is not dependent on the fact that the zulas, that the mekabel is aware of the fact that he's there. But from his point of view, it's begili. Yeah, there's different pratim, but
So you're saying the Ur is Biskalis?
yeah, b'yidiyase. B'yidiyase, the Eir is begili.
What does that mean? What do you mean Biskalis?
That's not fascinating. He brings it in there's more of a riches on it in other places, but it's I'm
Maybe
just
from Hashem's perspective, you're saying?
from the from the there's a mitzad the Eir. That verstehen what this meant. But I'm just saying what the lashon says that b'yidiyase Eir, the Eir is begili. We're not aware of the fact that the Eir is begili, but the Eir from its point of view is begili. Even though we don't know that he's begili, but from his point of view, he's meir begali in us. B'yidiyase, we know about him, but we don't know that we know about him. But yeah, I understand what this means.
You'll say we know about it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he's begili. B'yidiyase, he permeates us. He permeates us on an open way. He's not here in a. Okay, we're not in this topic. I'm just saying that's a minion that here he brings that the kisvar is all demands of the musik of tzimtzum. Tzimtzum is only shaykh by Eir, which in Yona is gilui, so it's shaykh to say that he's not begili, he's behelim. Atzmas is not shaykh to say begili, he's not behelim. Atzmas, the fact that he exists is without all these tension of helim and gilui. The same way the atzmas is shlilas kol ateirin, so it's not only that the etzim is not mugder and anything. The fact that he's present somewhere. So a nivra, a dargosh has a certain gather. See, in Yoni is bligvol. So the same way this Eir has a certain category, has a certain title, he has a certain function. His function is bligvol. And now, in what way is he present? Is he openly present? Are you margishim? Are you not margishim? That's a darga which has a certain definition, a certain function of what it is. So there is, in what way is he present? In what way is he felt in this place? But Atzmas is a shlilas kol atayrim. So the same way in the Metzias Etzem has no taich, it's built in Metzias. So al derech zeh, his presence has no taich. His being present is not because he relates. Doesn't have to relate, or he doesn't have to be in a way that he doesn't relate. He's present because he wants to be, without any taich. The fact that he's present here doesn't have to be in a certain mode, not helim and agili. So it's not shaykh to say that he's here behelim. Means that he's here in a certain mode. He's here in a bahaltan way, or he's here in a revealed way. He's here the way he wants to be. The same way his very being is not mugder in anything. It's the only there's only him. Al derech zeh, there's only him, and if he wants to be here, he's here. You say, with what is he here? Is he here because we feel him, we don't feel him? His being is not dependent on any other factor besides for the fact that he chose to be here. If he chose to be here, he's here. The ideas of being here in an open way or a nelamdik way, that's all in Yadam and Metzias. And the fact that something's here has a certain touch. So in what way is it present? But in Atzmos, there's all these Agdarim don't exist. Yeah, that's not verstehen, but I'm saying the Nukudah, what he brings here is he just brings a Hechrich. He's not going into the Prati Advarim. That in its Chaim state that there was a Tzimtzum there. That means that the Eir is present in a Eifen of Helen. And the Alter Rebbe says that Zama Short is not Shaykh in Atzmos. Atzmos is not Shaykh to say that he's present in a certain mode. He's present because he chose to be present. And his presence doesn't have to have any other factor outside of the fact that he's here. Without any taich. Yeah, all these Yinadim need a beer prati. I'm just saying So Lo Yitachin calls Lemer Ba'atzmas Mamish. So the fact that the Arizal hat gesagt that Tzimtzum in Eir Sof. So what did it mean Eir Sof? He doesn't mean Atzmus. He means Eir. And it says that the Eir was Ein Sof. The Lashon Yitzchayim is that since the Eir Sof is Amala Makam Acholu, So the was bligvul. So loy haya maklam midas eilemus. So what was bligvul? And b'meilat mesalig event this which is ein sof. So what are we dealing with? That means that the is ein sof, not atzmos, because atzmos there was no siluk. Lass mich get zu dem. Ja, chemisch gosse bis vor dem Shabri Yeshmain. Loschen wir steht in Sfarim is that the Bri is Yeshmain. So Loschen it's brought in Chazal. That the Bri is Yeshmain. So the Shaila is you do akushya. What do you mean the Bri is Yeshmain? Halim cha kelksiv. Ve'ichu ma'ayin. What's the pshat that the world was created from nothing? B'choret the Eibushat of Chashaten. Allah tirutzu. Shafilu mokar achayis shel kol ha'elim is nikra ayin u'kolochshav legabi mamish legam husi v'atzmose. That the mokar ha'mahaves ha'elim is that has no erech legabi atzmos, has no chshivas legabi atzmos. Legabi atzmos, the whole mitzvah ha'elim is kolochshiv, ka'ayin mamish. So the shaila is b'zash kasach chacham ayin timotzi pirish chachmi lo reishus atzilus. Shezabusa means sabchinas yesh ma'ayin leibe derech shash ilaval. Even the first dargin seder shlashus, which is chachmi, the highest dargin reishus atzilus, the highest dargin seder shlashus. So it's not an eifin that even though it's the highest dargin seder shlashus, the eifin as havas is not an eifin of ilaval from keser, from the makir, but it's an eifin of yesh ma'ayin. In the mekom gam makir zeh hamahave hachachme b'chinas yesh ma'ayin. Even the makir hamahave is b'chinas chachme, which is that means that it's be'en arech higher than chachme. But legabi ha'etzem, it's nikra ayin v'efes mamish gam husav atzmusit t'gulachshiv. So according to the Ramak, that the makra mahavas ha'ilimus is atzmos, we can't say this teretz. If this havas idea so you say that the legabi ha'etzem is kolachshiv. That is going to be masber later. Legabi the etzem, the is ka'ayin v'efes mamish. So the is ayin legabi the makr, legabi the etzem. That only you can say according to the Ramak. According to the, that you can only say according to Chesiz. According to the Ramak, that the makra mahavas is atzmos. So what's the pshat yesh ma'ayin? The Gedav Zagen yesh from atzmos habeira. Yesh me'akadosh baruch hu. What does it mean yesh ma'ayin? The yesh didn't come from ayin. The yesh came from atzmos. Oh. Now, why is that the makra mahavas is kolachshiv? This is v'hainu mishum shemakir zeh b'chinasei v'kalam. When we speak about the mashal you say that the havas is yesh ma'ayin. So the makra mahavas ha'elim is you say that what does it mean? What do you want to regard to the word of yesh ma'ayin? That the makar mahavas ha'elim is shalei be'erech higher than the mitzias ha'elim is. So that's why legabi the mitzias ha'elim is the makar mahavas is considered ayin legabi the yesh. The nivra is ve'ein arech to the beira. There's no way for the nivra to be markir and be margish the beira, because the ayin is shalei be'erech to the yesh. So that means that the yachas of the makar to the nivra is a yachas of seva kalam. He's removed from the nivra. That's called the Yiseviv. To say that he's removed is not shaykh to say in Atzmos. He's in the Begeder Alman Klal. His Legabi Atzmos, the whole Gedra Ilmus doesn't exist. The whole Suga Metzias of Ilmus is Kolach existiert nicht. There's only him. In the Darga, which is in the Dargan air, which is the Makar Mahavas Ha'elim is, so there's a Mitzias. He's a Makar from Mitzias. He's Shalei Be'erech higher than this Mitzias. He's Shalei Be'erech removed from this Mitzias. But Lepail, he's a Makar from Mitzias. When you say Seviv Kalam, you're saying there's a Mitzias. If Legabi Seviv, you say the Mashal in Seichel, you can't say there's a square Svara, or a Svara that's green. It doesn't exist there. There's no green in the Svara. So you can't say that the Svar is Seviv. It doesn't exist to begin with. When you say that the Lashon Seviv Kalama means that there's a Metzias of Elamis, what's the relation between the Makar and the Nivra that is Shalei Be'erech removed from this Metzias? And the Yesh has no similarity to the Ayin. Shalei Be'erech removed. But he's removed. It's Shaykh to say that he's removed from this Metzias. He's Shalei Be'erech higher than this Metzias. That you could only say if they're within the same category of being. So they're both a Metzias. This is Ein Sof and this is Gvul. So if they're both a Metzias, say the Ein Sof is Shalei Be'erech higher than the Gvul. But Asmos, which is built in Metzias B'tachlis, so the whole category of being doesn't exist L'gabi Asmos. The whole system of being doesn't exist L'gabi him. So it's not Shaykh to say Seva Kalam L'gabi Asmos. Be'em shmuz is rechol malam alkam liyis b'chnas sevel alman. Gein begeder alman klal. V'hanik when shkaz k'nis geshmel levade. Pirish afilu mashu b'chnas nizgav, and even when you speak about this darg in the lukus, that is shalei berech merayim v'nizgav from melam as hanis sevel kalamin. Shu nizgav v'kodesh umuvdol mekolmikim hurak b'chnas shmei levade rak shonik shmei agol. It's b'chnas shmei. Shmei means it's nirgash in mitzias that there's a darg which is ain't sof betachlis, but it's an ain't sof which is nirgash in mitzias. So the nivra within the same category of the mitzias and of the mitzias of Seder Shalshalis, there's an air, which is also a present being, which is Ein Sof. So the yachas of the air to the nivra is that he's Ein Sof, that he's Seva Kalamin. And since there's Sof Kal Sof, a relation between the air and the nivra, so it's Kolach Shiv Legabe Etzim. It's Ka'ayin Mamish Legabe Etzim. That's the pshat you say Yesh Ma'ayin. Even though because the Makar Mahava, the what causes this Havasan Nivra is the cause of Mitzvah Nivra, and the Eid is Merema Veniska from the Mitzvah Yesh. Shalei Be'er higher than the Mitzvah Yesh. That's the Yesh Ma'ayin. The fact that there's some relation between the Eid and the Yesh. So the Gabi Etzem, it's Ka'ayin Mamish. Punkt the Mitzvah Nivra is Ka'ayin Mamish. The whole category of being is Ka'ayin Mamish. Fil ma shu nizgav hanu seve klamet shu nizgav kodesh mut und kommt einfach nicht mehr levade rak schon nicht mehr gol ja khina seve fu shu khina smak flo elms ve im yesh bez gam kemak kodesh mak frach mehr le bush aus in das guf mamish khina zbay shmak ve mirach ik ve ini mit das guf ja different darges in the way the earth is mak flo elms das mo kemacher im kaze beza khina dis kolebram husse vat smus in begeder almen klar a filo li is khina seve lem be eza efen madrege shi ykhulu yeah so that's yeah. Oh, that means that the Gabi Etzem there's no Metzias. Before Ayla, so what's the pshat and Savakesh Baruch Hu? That's not a marker for Metzias. That's him. We're speaking about Mitzad there's a Savas of an Indian of a Metzias of Elamis. There's a Metzias Yesh. Mitzad Asm is the Kavanah's Dir of Tachtenim. But we're saying this Havas, the way it is Mitzad so there's a Havas of a Metzias. And that Metzias is Shalei Be'erech the Makar Taket. But since the Eir is an Ein Sof, is a Metzias which is Ein Sof, so there Shach to say that the Eir is Shalei Be'erech higher than the Nivra. Shalei Be'erech higher than the Yesh. But there is some link between the Eir between the Makar Mahava and the Yesh. What's the link? That the Makar Mahava is Merema Veniskav Imen. The fact that it's Shaykh to say that the Makar Mahava is Merema Veniskav from the Metzias Elamis, that itself means that he's Begeder Elamis. That they're in the same category of being. Mashik and Atzmos is Shalei Begeder Element, Shalei Begeder Alman Klal. So there's only him. Either the Gabi Hin, there's no Metzias Lachatchila. What's the Metzias? That he should be become Makim, but there's no Metzias, there's no Geder of Metzias. Oh, so he says like this. He says like this. V'im Nemar. Im Nemar Shnimshach Li is B'chnasei V'l'Alman. Afa pish eni espailet chas v'shalom im kol zeh yiridihi. V'im kein eichul u'vadecha. This the real touch is this lashon. He says before that he says there's a shinivi hakedesh leishon. You see, he says even though this havas is b'derech hamele, but he stays b'atzmosei, still it's a shiniv. So it says like this. Here the lashon he says over here is. Im nemash nimshach li b'china seva la'almin, afa pish eni espailet chas v'shalom im kol zeh yiridi. Saying sof kol sof. Who's saying that nimshach li b'china seva la'almin? He's saying that in the Ramak. According to the Ramak, the nimshach li seva la'almin, even though it's not a spailus, because he's not misamson l'fi erech elamis. He's nishar kameshu b'atzmos, and he's mureim v'niska from elamis. And since the Atzma is not muchrich in Gdarim, so if he wants to should be avot, v'zayin avot, even without him lowering himself down to relate to elamis. He says. So when he means im neimer, he means what according to the Ramak. And Avdem sagt, avvish eni espailas chazasham im kosei yiridihi, v'im ken eichul lebadecha. But the question is according to the Ramak, there's no hamshach ali is b'chin seiv alamin. L'chor according to the Ramak, it's this havas is derech hamele. Like he says before, there's no slapshus. So what does he mean that according to the Ramak, nimshach li is b'chin seiv alamin? The Ramak is also asking that the Atzma is any begeder almin klal. The Ramak says that the Atzma is any begeder almin klal, and the Eifen Eishabas was not that the Ein Sof is Nizgal in Mitzias, and from the Ein Sof, the way it's Nizgal in Mitzias, there's this Havas of Derech Ein Arech. Atzmus, which is L'mayla Megeder Alman Klal, all the Bershen, there should be a Welt. So he was never Nimshach Liis in a darg of a Yachas of Seviv La'alman. In Pashas, he says this whole Erich is just to explain why, according to Chassidus, you could say Yesh Ma'ayin. Because even though the Makar HaMahav is Be'en Erich to the Nivra, even though the Eir is Shalei Be'erich Mamish, but Sav Kosav you could call say Seviv. The Yachas of the Eir to the Nivra is a Yachas of Seviv, that is Makif. And Seviv, and that's Be'en Erich, and Mashayk and the Gabi Atzmus, you can't see the whole Musik of Seviv either, because Ein Begeder Alman Klal. So Mela the Eir is B'chinas Ayin L'Gabi Atzmus. So that's you can say Lashon Yesh Ma'ayin. So then you should say according to the Ramak, Mashayk, according to the Ramak, this is B'chinas Atzmus, how could you say Ayin? Which he says the Taka later. But here he adds something else. He says, "Ve'im neimash Hemshech li yispchina sevel ha'amen." That asks is Hemshech neifin of sevel ha'amen. So obviously, who says such a thing? You understand what I'm saying? So Rabbi touches it. There comes out. He doesn't ask the question mamash on this line, but that's what comes out. What he means is, he says before that this havas with the ways inside the asmas is derech hamela without any tnu of yirida.
He says that Ramak he says that those words as derech hamela.
Yeah, he says before. Hagam, yeah, he says. His Hagam, Shazam, Shabbos, Ilm, Derech HaMelech, Levi, B'chinas Slapshus. He says before, B'chinas Siba, he says it again earlier. Hagam, Shazam, Shabbos, Ilm, Derech HaMelech, Levi, B'chinas Slapshus. But Biel touches it there. He said like this, because Atzmus is Shlias Kol HaTeirim and there's no G'darim, so he doesn't have to lower himself down, he doesn't have to come into the category of being in order for him to be a Siba for Mitzias Hayesh. He doesn't have to be a Siba, he doesn't have to, Any Begeder Alman Klal, the way he is Any Begeder Alman is all that we're saying is Zaltan Evelt, Shlek and Kashas. The question is, but from the point of view of Elamis, from the point of view of Geder, of Tayar, of Mitzias, in their Regesh, the nekuda that Atzmas is in the Begeder Alman Klal is not nirgash in the mitzvah. That's the inyan which is not meir in the mitzvah sayesh. The Elamis are not a keli to be married. In Elamis is not meir from their point of view. In the ingredients of the mitzvah hanivra is not nirgash that the beir is the ganzen mushtet from this inyan. It's in the Begeder Alman Klal. Because this Havas is because Atzmas Shlilas Kol HaTeirim. So from the Shlilas Kol HaTeirim point of view, is all they were saying there should be a Velt, the Gevarna Velt. But in the Metzias Eilumis, in Seichel HaNivra, let's say, in Seichel HaNivra, Seichel is not shaykh to their gain that the Eibishter is Legamri Mufshtis in the whole gather of Eilumis. Because in his Metzias, he only has his Metzias. The ultimate Bulti Metzias is not Meir the Metzias Hayesh. So that what he has, he exists. And in his existence, there's no tnua, which brings out that there's a darga which his whole mitzvah doesn't begin to exist. So what's able to be nirgash in the yesh? That his makkah is not bekiruf to him. His makkah is be'en arich to him. But the fact that Atzis ain't begeder alman klal, that's not shaykh to be made in the mitzvah. So kumta is that the etzem cannot be so the Shalem mitzad ha'is havos, the etzem is meir begoli. Mash'egen in his hav, in the mitzias ha'is havos, in the mitzias ha'elamis, the etzem can't be meir begoli in their mitzias. So through his havos, there was a shinui. That the etzem is naifin of Helen, can be. In the mitzias ha'elamis, the mitzias ha'asvos cannot be meir begoli in their mitzias. That's the irida.
What does that have to do with Seviv?
It means im neimash nimshach li yisbchin salman that legabi the mitzias ha'elamis. Legabi the mitzias ha'elamis, there is no tnua that is any begeder alman klal. The maximum that's nirgash in ha'elamis is that is shalei be'erech higher. But not that legabi him, the whole geder ha'elamis doesn't exist. It means that the emes, the way it is in Sada Atzmos, cannot be made in mitzias ha'elamis. The ultimate that they're able to get to is that the Eibishter save of La'alman. So kumte is that through this havus, there's a sefer Echim, there's a
Hasidus is on that side.
No, it's just a little bit exactly the way he says it there. Yeah, I'm saying just ein nusach in the minion. Yeah, the lashon the way he says even though it's not a spell chas v'shalom im kol zeh means we're not saying. Yeah. The pile in the Metzias Ha'elam is the emes k'meishu mitzad ha'atzmos cannot be meir in their Metzias. So through the Ishavos, there's through the Ishavos, lifnei Ishavos, the etzem must be there's no tnu of the etzem being in a way of Helen, or the etzem must be in a mode of Helen. Mash'inkin wants to do is Ishavos Ha'elam is in Elma, since they're Metzias, they cannot be kalim to the Vilti Metzias. So the atzmos, the way he is in the Metzias Ha'elam is not betachlis agili. So that's a yerida legabi the etzem is shalei before this house, shalei mitzad this house. That's the way he says it there. So he attaches this line. They don't have to.
Air starts ready from.
No, it's in the middle. He says, as I'm saying, exactly the Shem is as a third word. Yeah, but the lashon over here is, so first of all he says him because yiridihi means that's Chachafegan also says, not Tommy, that yeah, this is I'm saying this is a darkest Indian abyssal this prat. Yeah, in other words, according to the Ramak. According to the Ramak, when that this happens in such a called Torah, what type of shina is shaykh? But the shina is the fact that there's a mode of being, there's a mode of mitzias which is not a keli to this amitis mitzias. So lifnei is havos. We're not saying there's a change that he has to lower himself down. We're not saying that the Atzmos has to lower himself down in order to create a world. He has to change. He has to go into a different mode. That we're not saying, because since he's not muchrich in anything, k'maishu she'eni begeder alman klal kan sein avelt. But the shaila is do the Metzias Ha'elam contain this truth? According to the Ramak, the Metzias Ha'elam Metzias doesn't contain this emes from the point of view of the Metzias. Metzias is not a keli to this emes. There's no ingredient in the Metzias that connects it to this truth. So the Metzias is not a keli to this truth. If the Metzias is not a keli to this truth, that means that the Keach Ha'etzem, the way it is in this Metzias, is an Eifen of Helen, not an Eifen of Gilui. Why is he an Eifen of Helen? Because the Mitzvah is not a keli to the Bilti Mitzvah. From the Bilti Mitzvah's point of view, there's no Akbalis. There's no Klal and Klal. But from the Mitzvah's point of view, they're not a keli to the Bilti Mitzvah. So that's the emes is. So there's two modes in the emes of Atzma, so to speak. There's the way he is Mitzad Atzma, and there's the way he is Mitzad Mitzvah's Eilemis. And Mitzad Mitzvah's Eilemis are not kelim that it should be Meir Begilu. So that's already a Yerida legabi the Indian the way it is Be'emes. There brings in Sichos many times that the Alter Rebbe says, I mentioned that it's got to be mitzvahs. When a Yid does a mitzvah, since it's Ratzna Atzmos, so his mamshech, he makes a dirah b'tachtein. But why is it a get to have, and the Rebbe says that since to be Mekayim a mitzvah, your mamshech Atzmos in Welt, it's muz zayin that sof kol sof, it's going to, when a person does a mitzvah, it's going to affect him, also in the seichel amidis, that he's going to become more edel, that he's going to become a keli telikos, sof kol sof. Because if the mitzvah would be done in a way that it wouldn't have the potential, and it wouldn't have this, it wouldn't force that the person should become edel and become a keli telikus, that would be a raya that it's not atzmos, because that means that the keich eliki which is nimshach through this mitzvah has to be behelen, can't come begali. It's here from its point of view. But from the point of view of the nivra, which is mekayim the mitzvah, from the point of view of the yad, which is maniach tefillin, it's not possible for the yad to be a keli to the. If it's not possible, that means that the keich ha'etzem, which is nimshach in the yad, has to be in a certain in a ifin of helen. He can't be meir b'chol ha'tekev shalei, from the point of view of the mitzvahs. So that would be a raya that it's not etzem, because atzmos is any mugdar klal. So if you're being mamshach atzmos, there cannot be a limit that it has to be here only from his point of view and not from the nivra's point of view. As is ishlos kol terem, so you could be, so the mitzvah ishlos kol terem is that even gather could be a keli for him.
you could still ask, well,
No, I'm saying is according to the Ramak, the Atzmus shall not mitzad before this havos. So the Atzmus steht mit the ganze Tekef. There's only him, and without any hagbolas, without any limitations. Mashenkin mitzad this havos, since there was havos of a mitzias, which from the point of view of the mitzias is not a keli to the etzem. So the keach Atzmus, the way it is in the mitzias hanivra, cannot be in the ganze Tekef mitzad the point of view of the nivra. That's a yirida.
Saying even
It's
though
not the
it's
etzem
five,
k'meshi.
that's how he touches even though after
I think so. I think as that word.
Saying
This
Spavs
lush.
means it's not
Balance means that there's a shini in him.
because
He lowers his level. So we're not saying there's a shini in him. We're saying the fact that this truth is not evident also legabi the nivra. That's not the ultimate. It's not the ultimate. It's not the ultimate shlilas sagdar. That's not things that are. I'm just saying. I'm just. I'm saying it that in case you look over there. See, I can miss myself that I think I know what to see. Maybe you also. I'm just trying. As I could read it, you'll think maybe it's a little bit Chinese. So I'm saying it's still Chinese, but. Yeah, no, I'm saying the Meitish me versteht. We're just all the same. Yeah, but that's rein trachten them. It's not the double pashat. Yeah, he says vim kein echul vadecha. Vim kein echul vadecha. So again, this nekuda echul vadecha is the metzias ha'elamis is not him. According to the Ramak, I'm saying this nekuda is according to the Ramak. There's no mitzi that the metzias is not a keli to the built metzias. So echul vadecha lepoil is mishavik varna metzias. And now it's not only him. It's not only him. From his point of view, the whole mitzias of the nivra is that kach alaber tzeni. But from the point of view of the nivra, there's a gather of gvul, which is not a keli to the bli gvul. And Bereshis bara lekim, so the gevarna mitzias na shemayim va'aretz, and shemayim va'aretz from the say the character of shemayim is that he's not a keli tatzmas. So echul vadecha, ubeemes ato hu levadecha mamish. So don't know the Rebbe Shtaralin. B'chinas havdalah legamri, gam ata. There's atzmas the way he's moved the legamri for the whole gather is habas. There was never a shinui. I feel achar shesisa hashemayim. Mamish k'meshe kodim shesisa. Why I said do a mitzias von a welt? The fact that there's a mitzias which does not reflect him, that's all mitzad eir. From the point of view of atzmos, the mitzias is also a kelitim. Okay, there's a pratim here, but you look in the Sefer Erchim for further reading. But there's pratim here. Ken echol levadecha, be'emes atu levadecha mamish. B'chinas havdalah legamri, gam ata. Fil achar shesis hashemayim. Mamish k'mekedem shesis. In other words, the nekuda is that the same truth, the way it is inside the etzem mamish, the same truth is reflected in the mitzias. Means gam ata. It's not only the gabi etzem. There's no shini. Gam ata in the mitzias ha'elam is it's nirgash that the fact that there's a mitzias that's only mitzat er and mitzat tzimtzum. But the ultimate truth of this reality is that atu Hashem levadecha. That there's only him. I mean, the fact that there is a yachas to mitzias, so rak b'china shmei levad. And this, in other words, that's b'china shmei. That's in the Eidos nirgash. In the Eidos nirgash that the fact that there's an isnas manga from mitzias, that's mitzat gilui. But the truth is, means the Eir is a keli for this word. It's not stam as this word. The Eir says this word. That's what's lacking. Then according to the Ramak, this word that the whole pchina sevik kalam rak pchina shmei levad aval atam mamish levadecha. That's not only the truth from his point of view. That's the truth. That's the truth. The Eir reflects that. The Eir reflects that be'etzim it's nothing legabi the etzim. It's a keli to this bittul. This bittul that he says here. That the Eir is Kulam Mamish the Gabi Etzem, that the Eir is Ayin Mamish, the Eir Tak is Ayin. It's not only that from the point of view of Atzmos, the Eir is Batul. The Eir's Inyan is to express this Bittul. So this truth that there's nothing else besides for Atzmos, that any Begad Ram and Klau, and Bemela the Eir is Batul, that any Pchin in Olukus, in Pchin in Gili, which gives an Esinas Makam to Elumis, is Pchinas Ayin Mamish the Gabi Atzmos, that is Pchinas, that the Eir says that it's Pchinas Ayin Mamish. And the air is a keli to this ultimate bittul. That brings the mashal. Why is it that it says in Pirkei Avos that Asar Maris Nivra Elam, so the Hashem it doesn't not only Yachal Maimer Echad Libaris that if he wanted he could have. There's this havos the way it is mitzad Maimer Echad. Means mitzad the seder as havos was first was havos Maimer Echad. Reishis Bar Lakim was the Maimer Echad, which was the whole havos of Mitzias was this havos from this Maimer Echad, and then there was Nesparet and Asar Mamaris. There says this havos the way it is mitzad Maimer Echad is a much higher this havos, a higher refinais havos. Asar Mamaris is the reason why the Mitzias Elmas is a Mitzias Yesh and there's a Shiur and Pratim. Why is it that why do the Elmas begin mitzad Maimer Echad? So since the kavana is the kavana should be a yesh, but safkasav this yesh should be a keli to the ultimate bittul. If this havas would have been to begin with Asana Mamaris, the nivra wouldn't begin in a stage of Maimer Echad, then the nivra wouldn't contain within itself the ingredient of bittul. Then it would be a yesh, and the nivra wouldn't be a keli to the bittul mitzvahs. See, lechatchila the havas is the amitis ha'elamis are the way they are the Maimer Echad. And therefore, through Aveda, that you're later was Nesparet to Asar Mamaris. But the truth is that the Metzias Elements begin from Maimer Echad. But the Shabashashim Megala, the bittul, the way it is inside the Maimer Echad, the elements are keli to this bittul. So this truth that Legabe Etzem, there's no the whole Metzias Elements is Kolach Shiv, and that the fact that the air Legabe the air there is a Yachas to elements because air is B'chinas Gilui. So Legabe air is B'chinas Seviv La'am. The fact that there's a Yachas of Seviv from the air to the elements. So that is, it's b'chinas ayin ve'efes the gabi etzim. That's the air is a keli. The air expresses that it's ayin ve'efes the gabi etzim. So atu avada vadecha. The same truth that there's only him. Before this havas is the mitzias ilmus is exactly the same truth because they're a keli and they reflect that ultimate truth that there's only him. You get the close Indian. Eins in dem. Das ist ein bisschen Sachen, was man darf sich hereintrachten. Wie said this. Aber at the mamish levate keden bris elements. Keden bris element. Sheni begad al almen klal. I feel Elias nikar seven. It says v'zeh efshel hamas lepirish ramak. According to the Ramak, the Ein Tzavas Seva Kalaman Hainu Atzos Mamish. I mean, Ve'eich Nikra Zeh Yesh Ma'ayin. This Havos is from Atzmos, and there's the this is already the way Taj is a little bit of a deicha, and the B'Yachas Ha'elam is there's the Atzmos is Seviv Kalam. So the fact that the Etzem is Ein Begeder Alman Klal, that's not Nirgish Neilamis. So the Metzias Ha'elam is not doesn't reflect the ultimate emes. But the way it says it here is at the end we're saying Hainu Atzos Namish. Ve'eich nikar zeh yesh ma'ayin. Means where is the vu leichda that the whole Metzias Ha'elam is ka'ayin mamish. In his havos we don't have this Indian that this havos is yesh ma'ayin. What's nirgish in Welt is that the Eibishter Tashafa the Welt. The fact that the Gabi Atzmos ain't begeder almen cloud, that's not nirgish in Welt. So eich nikar zeh yesh ma'ayin. Vim nemer kavana ma'ayin she'enim b'chinas yesh, that Atzmos is not b'chinas yesh. Atzmos has not Shiur. Pshita she'enim b'chinas yesh, chas v'shalom. But he's not a specific form. He's not a specific being. He has a svar. Maybe yesh ma'ayin means that havas is b'keich Atzmos. We're calling Atzmos ayin, not yesh, because yesh means a specific being. Atzmos is not a specific being. So he's saying that he has no form. Ayin. There's no mitzias there. There's only him. Yishma'ayin is not saying because it's kolochshiv the gabi de'etzim, because it's bottle. There's no mitzias there. There's only him. That's what we mean ma'ayin. So them sagt first of all pshita shein m'chines yesh chas v'shalom. But you can't say ayin because the word is not the shame for Asmus is not that there is no tzir. The shame is that there's only him.
Is it?
Not ayin.
Isn't Hashem a Matthias? Like the problem with being a Matthias, that you're Matthias, that's not
Tzir.
Hashem Matthias.
Tzir. What it means, it should be shayla. What it means, enim b'chinas yesh, it is not a tzir. He's al b'emes hu nimtza amiti. He's the true being. V'nikra yesh amiti. V'en yishayach lemer azeh chas v'shalom shem ayin. So what's it says in Maskana? This is the way the Alter Rebbe says. Achinu du be'emes behechlich leimar sheyesh b'china. These pratim when you get to the Shakvetari, so the Ramak and the Kabbalim, that's I'm saying it's very, in a way, doesn't nicht gepasht in Yonim. But when you get to the Hemshech, when you get to Zes Chukas, we'll be more. We'll try to explain it a little bit more. Barchava those in Yonim. Chinin azay. Be'emes behechlich leimar sheyesh b'china she'enim b'chinas atzmos. There is a b'china which is not atzmos. It means not shlilas kol ha'terim. Not shlilas is not the right word. Not a b'china of gilui, a b'china of a metzias, a certain mode of being, so to speak, a certain gilui, a certain tnua. Ki'im nimtzah min atzmos, a tnua which is not atzmos but nimtzah min atzmos, and b'china zu nikra gam ken insof, which mi b'china zu which is like a makar leilamis, a makar from metzias. Punkt like the Kabbalah Marishenim say that B'china Nimtzah Ben Atzmos is the Masivu Makar for the Nivraim, for the Metzias HaNivra. V'Atzmos Sibas Kol HaSibas. Avaleshu B'chinas Makar Chas V'Shalom. Canal. Means Atzmos, you say, we say in Sabakesh Baruch this is but that is not a Makar for Metzias. Makar for Metzias is Eir. Same with the Kabbalah Marishenim learn that there is Lapel there is Nesava the Metzias of Elamis. There's a Metzias outside of Elikus. That metzias, that there's a metzias which is not behesem telukus. That metzias is nishavim mitzadair. Of course, according to Alter Rebbe, that's also negir for the kavanah of Dirib Tachtenim. That bechitzenis begali is a metzias, and that metzias is a keli tatzos. That we'll see this prat in Hemshech. So there's b'china zu hu amakar leilamis, hu b'china seiv v'makef leilamis. And this b'china is b'chinas ayin ve'eves the kolom mamish choshev legabe atzmos. Like I said before, it's not only that legabe that atzmos says that it's kolach shiv. This b'china, it's margish that it's ayin ve'eves kolach shiv legabe atzmos. It's bottle. Its Indian is to be a bottle to atzmos. This b'china. And Sav Kosav, since the Makar HaMetzias, this is an important point to remember, since the Makar HaMetzias, according to Alter Rebbe, if it's Keser, in Keser Leichnish, according to Kolom Rishonim, in Keser Leichnish as Kain Vefes Legabe Atzmos. According to the Alter Rebbe, there's the Eir is the Makar HaMetzias. But what's for Azach is Eir? Eir is that it's bottled betachas to the Mar, and it's made in Eir that it's Kolach Shav Legabe Atzm, that it's no Metzias Legabe Atzm. So same way it's made in Eir, and Eir is Sav Kosav the Makar of the Yesh. So the Sav Kosav, the truth of the Yesh is to be as a mayor, but that is a keli to this emes that everything's kain vefes the gabe atzmos. So mitech advarim comes out that at the end of the day the truth is that the metzias hanivra is a keli to the ultimate truth. With these words that he's saying here, see, he says b'china zu, which is eretz of b'chinas matzev makaf elaelamis, and this b'china is ayin vefes the kolom mamish choshev the gabe atzmos. Means it's bottle the gabe atzmos. Not only the atzmos says that it's bottle. The Eir is taka keli to this bittul. Means the Eir reflects the truth that the Gabi Etzem is kain v'efes mamish. And if the Eir reflects it as a keli for it, so Sav Kosav the Nivra is a keli for this ultimate bittul Gabi Etzem. Aval ein ze b'chinas hakeser b'chinas haratzin. Then shayach lemer al Hashem in Sof Kanal. V'gam yimuch lemer lefi ze ratzin kodem kanal. B'zeh yishal lemer kanal. Elazeu b'chinas ha'Eir v'agili menas. The b'chin of Eir v'gili. Just see later. So on one hand, the Erve Gili says, here he's touching the word that the Erve Gili, which you can't say that Legabi Keser, that the Erve Gili is P'chinas Ha'or Levad V'le'etzim Klal. V'lechenim P'chinas Ayin V'eves Mamish Legabi Asos. On one hand, so there's a musig of a Makar and a Hamshach min HaMakar, which is an Hamshach b'derech Er, or Er min HaMakar. Which the Hagdar of Er is that it's a Gili min HaMakar. We'll see later, he's going to touch it with Pratis. What's the Nekudis, what's Negel Linyaninu? Once the Alter Rebbe was Machadish, that there's a Metzias called Er, means that there's a metzias which is nimshach min ha'atzmos, that his relation to the makar is that he's the gili of the makar. So then we have two nekudis in this air. On one hand, this air, which is a gilui, it's nirgash in the air that it's a ar levad. The air, since we'll see later the beer, but since the air in Yona is gili amar, so it reflects the fact that legabi the mar is kain v'efes mamish, that it's a ar levad. Kain v'efes mamish legabi atzmos. Umikom kim b'chinas ein sof. But the fact that it's in simple, because the whole Indian of Eir is Gili Amar. Both of these Nekudas are needed to explain. On one hand, we want to say that the Eir is the Makkah for the Metzias. Eir is Ein Sof. Why is Ein Sof? Because it's Mein Amar. But on one hand, through Eir is also Nezgada, the ultimate truth that the whole Metzias is Kolach Shiv. because it is horrible bad. Yeah, but these nukudas are totally, we'll see later the Hemshech. ונמצא שאין הסהבוס מן העצמוס ממש, כי מן העיר, שהוא גם כן אינסוף, מתי שהוא מעין המר. ובעיר יש גם כמדרגה שהוא מבחינת קדמן, או שלא מבחינת עיר כמישהו מבחינת מציאסר, כי כמישהו מבחינת הלם העצמוס ממש. We'll see later. זה דרגן עיר, which is קדמן, כקדמוס העצמוס. We'll see later. Yeah, so some pratim are going to become more clear. I'm going to learn the Maimers is Chukas and Kiyimcha. But even if since you can clarify in this Maimer and some pratim, but the Hemshech will be more, will clarify some details. We're going to go back to this Reish Chavav, but I'm just saying, there's only Shvalir and Pian al Yuvan Shkaz Violech Havaya Say Yam Beruach Kodem. Vayubaku Chulu. Yeah, the Yam V'Yabashu Helen V'Gilui. Yeah, the Yam, everything which is in the Yam, Kol Ma Sheyesh B'Yabashu Yesh B'Yam, but in Yona, the way they are in the Yam are covered. Mashiach B'Yabashu, so the things that exist, the Nivraim that exist, they are apparent. Misef Kol Dargan, as Reish Kol Dargan. The fact that there was that Kriyas Yamsuf, there was in of Kara, there was the in of Kara Yam Liyabash. The fact that the Indian of Yam Liyabash, you have this in all dargis. You do at the Yam of Malchus Datzilis, Meshi Batzilis, which is Maidem Eres Atzilis Besecha. And the Mashink in the Elamis already, the Malchus, they becomes a market to Bria. So that's the Yanam Arbegili. Well, the Mailam is up Pchinal Yenish because Pchinas Atik, and there Lukus is higher than Mitzias, Pchinas Nelam. Well, the Mailam is up Pchinas Simsim Marishin, is Almos Erchul. So then in Mireish Kadargan, Seif Kadargan, there's the Darga where Lukus is Begili, where the Mitzias is Begoli. There's the Darga where Lukus is in an Ephim which is higher than Gili. Al-Derech, like the Yam, which the Nivram should be Yam or Mechus, they're beyond Gili. Higher than being able to be in his Gal. Those dargas in the Lukus, that pchina, which mitzad its nature, mitzad its gather, are beyond Gilui, the ufta of Kriyas Yamsuf, given that they were in his Gal. Even though Atzilus mitzad its nature is beyond his Galus and beyond, the in of Kriyas Yamsuf, given that Atzilus Yona's Gal and beyond. Kedu the Kriyas Yamsuf is Chabros Atzilus beyond. L'malam Atzilus, and that darga, what was Kriyas Yamsuf? She's Gal pchina Elam Atzmos Amatzl. Shade Sharishin was in of Kriyas Yamsuf, she gili pchinas Elam Atzmi Dein Sof. What behind no gili pchinas etzema er k'meishu b'elamasas. This dargan the air, the way it is a pchin of kadman, beyond the mitzias of air. The mitzias of air that's al derech liyabash. That's the air which is together gili. The shade shemakara air is the etzema air which is kadman, which is the pchinas of helama, which is the way the air is in etzema, which is the pchinas of helama atzmos. And that was nizgal in Kriyas Yamsuf. Kriyas Yamsuf v'echon matan teira. The idea teira nimshach gili pchinas atzmos sein sof. So which gili atzmos sein sof? The etzema air. The ultimate truth of the air is, we're going to explain later, is to reflect the truth of Atzmos. The mitzvah of air mein amar, that it's one with Atzmos. And the kavana is, the fact that the air is not just this technical word, and therefore there's no shayla of shinui. Why is there no shayla of shinui? Because Saf Kol Saf since the air reflects the ultimate truth of Atzmos, so Saf Kol Saf through Aveda or Gnei in Elamis, and that the Elamis will reflect this ultimate truth of the etzema air. That's through the inyan of Matan Torah. So be mamshech the amitis ha'er in Gilui. That the nivra should be a keli, should reflect the ultimate emes of Atzmos. Okay, that's what Matan Torah. They are telling me Gilui b'chinas Atzmos sinsof. V'Gilui azeh ha'i b'Kriyas Yamsuf. Yeah. Zachonat Matan Torah. V'zav Violech Havaya Say Yom Beruach Kodem. What's this Ruach Kodem? V'as at the Megali given the b'china of Yam. With what was Violech Havaya Say Yom? With what power? At the Megali given. This b'chin of etzema air, that's b'chinas kadmeni shalaylam, and b'chinas helam ha'atzmi dein sof, which is amitas ha'gilui de Kriyas Yamsuf. The yisod of the gilui Kriyas Yamsuf was, the yisod of Matan Torah is that there should be the isgalus of b'chinas kadmeni shalaylam, helam ha'atzmi dein sof, the amitas ha'atzmos. If he's a movement, in ruach kodem l'hei ezek me'achon Teves. That's all behemshech to the amitas ha'inyan of what Kriyas Yamsuf is. Zau amitas ha'gilui de Kriyas Yamsuf. Shenizgal b'chinas dein sof kadmeni shalaylam, the ultimate kadmen, the kadmen amiti. Because Sof Kol Sof, behind the Pchinas Etzema Eir, K'meishu B'Helam Atzmos Mamish. The way it is Kadmen Mamish, we're going to explain later. U'inyan Ruach Kodem. I mean the Ruach, it's Ruach Elikim Rechav Zapnei Amayim, the Ruach Hashem Mashiach. That's the Ruach Kodem, the Kadmen Shalaylam. V'zeu Achon Al Matan Torah. Sh'adei Torah nimshach gili Pchino Madrega Zu. Epis is Abyssal Asis. No, I'm saying. Just let him get it. Good. We'll start, but the next time we'll go through each prat. These are the Kenyanos, there's Chukas and okay. Will man sein da? So von Nacht.
Make a sickle in your blood.
I think better we'll learn the Hemshech Advarim and then we can go back to some pratim. Because before we have a shtickle what's going on with air, it's hard to erase reden the Indian if you don't have yet cleared a little bit the musagim of air. A lot of the Havana Sayyana is totally if you understand what's the idea of air a little bit. So when we get after a little bit in Kiyim, we'll come in the Sadr Reden.